This thing looks pretty good. It's in good shape. It's definitely had seen some Texas sun for a while. Needs some little touch-ups on different stuff. Brembo brakes. It's got suspension, adjustable suspension on all four corners, straight from the factory. Hopefully this mic situation works out pretty good. It's my first time trying it. I don't know where the windsock is for it, but I'll cut the AC off in a minute here. I'm on this my most local kind of twisty road. Just testing this thing out. I haven't really pushed it or anything. I'm not going to push it today. I'm just going to cruise down this road and basically go over my initial thoughts on this Boss 302. And we'll talk about why I sold my 86 Coyote Swap Fox and bought this instead. So far, I love this thing. From the factory, these Boss 302s are set up really nice. Now, why would I sell my 86 Foxbody, my Coyote Swap Foxbody, and get something newer? Basically, that car was set up pretty good in its current state. I mean, I drove it about 5,000 miles with that current setup. It was fast, it was fun, it had all the suspension, it had brakes, it had everything. Plenty of power. The biggest issues I had with it were a few months back. I was daily driving it basically, and at the end of the day, it's an 86 chassis. There's no other way to put it. The only reason you'd want an 86 chassis is because you just really like that style of Mustang, or you had one when you were younger, or you wanted to build some type of race car. I still love the Fox bodies, always have. They look awesome, they're cool, all that stuff. Tons of aftermarket support, but at the end of the day, that car is not a daily driver. That's a weekend car, that's a race car, that's whatever. It's not a daily driver. It's not daily driver friendly. And I don't have time anymore for a weekend car. And I don't want to turn it into a pure race car because I don't have time to go to a racetrack either. So in order for me to bring that Fox body up to the next level, whether it was comfort or it was power, because I still have a Roush 2.3 supercharger for it. In order for me to go to the next level, it was going to cost AC. To run AC was going to be thousands of dollars and work, and I would have had to relocate front sway bar and do all that. And even if it did have AC, it still wasn't a super comfortable daily driver. And I wasn't necessarily wanting to daily drive it. I just wanted to be able to take it to work and enjoy it instead of only taking it out at specific times. It just got to the point where I was either going to dump a ton of money into it, a ton more, because I already had tons of money into it, or get rid of it and get something that's more that I can take to work and still enjoy. So I was looking at 11 to 12 GT500s, which, you know, I like those and I'm sure they're awesome. I've never driven one. But the Shelby tax is kind of tough. Even for one with close to 100,000 miles, a lot of these guys don't want to come off a certain number. They're all kind of right at that 30,000 mark, and they don't want to sell it for anything less. And it's because it's got the Shelby name on it, and most of them are collectors. People are selling them. They got, 100 miles on them and stuff. And it's sad that you bought an awesome vehicle, and you never drove it in hopes to sell it one day. It's just kind of ridiculous to me. So I never really considered the Boss 302. I never really knew too much about them. I knew they had the Roadrunner engine. I knew it was better than the Gen 1 Coyote, but as far as the rest of the vehicle, I never really knew much about them. So when I was looking for GT500s, I saw a couple Boss 302s in my area, and I started to do a little bit of research on them because I noticed that, you know, they had Brembo brakes from the factory, Recaro seats. So I did some research, found out that these cars are pretty badass straight out of the box. You know, the GT500 is definitely more of like a brute. Man, this thing rips. The GT500s are more of a brute. They make power, supercharged. In my opinion, that's more of your straight line killer. This thing, however, was designed from the factory to be more of a road course, twisty car, which I'm more into that. I mean, I like to drag race and go fast in a straight line, don't get me wrong, but I like a vehicle that does everything. That's why I didn't turn my Foxbody into a drag car. And this thing is extremely capable in the twisties. It makes good power factory, and it's got tons of potential to make power. So I may do the supercharger on this sometime in the future and try to shoot for around 6, maybe 700 horsepower, depending on how I set it up. But so far, this thing is 100 times better than the Foxbody. I mean, just comfort, the ability to just get in and drive it anywhere. I'm not, with the Foxbody, I didn't want to take it anywhere and leave it because I was always scared somebody would steal it or somebody would mess with it. So I just never really, anytime I took it out, it was to go out and then come back home. I wouldn't go get groceries in it. I mean, it was just not the vehicle I really wanted. I mean, I built that car. Every part on it was my decision. The suspension, the stiffness of it, the steering, everything was what I was trying to do. And then when it was complete, I was just like, it's not what I want. And it was an awesome car. But this thing is better in every way. From the factory, this thing already they come with side pipes. So they have basically 4 exhaust outlets, side pipes, and then the rears. It sounds great. I don't know if the side pipes have a baffle in them. I don't know if the previous owner had taken them out or not. It's very possible because I could hear it out the side pipes pretty good. It's not extremely loud. I can cruise down the highway and I can barely hear this thing unless I step on it. The steering feels great. It's got several different modes. In sport mode for twisty stuff, it feels awesome. with all that being said, hopefully that last audio clip was pretty decent. That's basically all the reasons why, or most of the reasons why I got rid of my 86. I loved it. It was awesome. But it just didn't do what I wanted it to do. I wanted to enjoy it more, and it kind of just got to the point where I couldn't enjoy it. Now, as far as this Boss 302 goes, I'll have some modifications coming up pretty quick. As everybody knows, the MT82 is known to not be a great transmission. Part of the reason why I was thinking about a GT500 is because decent engine, supercharged, TR6060, kind of ready to go. This thing, everything is great. The Coyote is, in my opinion, better than the GT500 5.4. Personal opinion. But the transmission leaves a lot to be desired. It's not terrible. It's not grinding. It's still, this vehicle still has pretty low mileage, just under 50,000. But it doesn't feel great, and I don't like that. And of course, there's all types of stuff people do to these to make them better without doing a built transmission, which I may attempt to build a transmission myself this winter. But as of right now, my focus is probably do a short throw shifter, and this thing might have one. I'm not sure. If this shifter is from the factory, it's a damn good feeling, tight, pretty short throw shifter from the factory. But I have a feeling this might be a upgraded shifter. I got to get underneath there and look. It needs a clutch. Clutch isn't slipping, it holds power fine, but these clutches are known from the factory to not want to shift at high RPM. They don't want to disengage properly, which locks you out of gears. So I need to do a clutch, shifter, and change the fluid in it and see where it's at from there. Like I said, probably going to build a transmission myself this winter, because a built transmission, if I buy one, is basically about $2,500 just entry level. So I figured I'll buy a junk one off Marketplace and give it a shot. Maybe save about $1,000. We'll see. Maybe I'll build a piece of crap and it'll explode, but just gotta wait and see. So all in all, this car is 100 times better than the Fox. So far, I love it. Every time I'm not driving it, I can't wait to drive it. Where the Fox, when I was taking that thing to work, man, I dreaded the ride home, especially if it was in traffic and the heat. It just wasn't pleasant. Couldn't really listen to the radio because it was so loud. I mean, all types of things. Anyway, that's it for now. If you are interested in Boss 302 content, I'll have some more coming up for sure. Haven't really got to wring this thing out because of the clutch. It does not want to, it locks me out at high RPM shifts. So haven't really got to experience that 75 or 7,900 RPM, whatever the rev limiter's at. But coming up soon, I'm going to have some updates on this thing. Also, possibly some Ranger updates. Now that I have a reliable vehicle to get me to work, I don't have to spend so much time on the Bronco and all that other nonsense. So, got some content coming up here soon.